Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video, and Blizzard has released another round of class tuning and changes for the next expansion, Midnight. It's important to keep tabs on these to see the direction of your specialization, which one you might be locking in on for a main, because obviously if your class is really strong right now, you're probably going to get nerfed. If your class is really weak, you're probably going to get buffed. And you kind of want to be the weakest right when it launches and not the strongest right when it launches. And following these changes can kind of help you pinpoint which one's going into that position. And sometimes there's mechanical changes that can change how fun a class is as well. And if you want to make sure that you're staying up to date with news related to World of Warcraft, educational and entertaining content, then make sure to smash that subscribe button. Your support is appreciated as always. So let's get started here for Demon Hunter. The Annihilator. For Vengeance Demon Hunter specifically, your Voidfall Meteor damage is being increased by 20%. I'm honestly not surprised to see them buffing this. I think that the Fellscarred, or whatever version it is called now, was actually kind of on the weaker side, so I'm really not surprised, although I don't think we see any changes for Devourer Demon Hunter, which is what I was wondering if they were going to touch. But Meteoric Rise now increases Fell Devastation damage by 25, up from 15%, and Celestial Echoes now increases Fracture damage by 30, up from 5, and Dark Matter Meteor Shower damage has been increased by 20%. So across the board, Annihilator looking a little bit more appealing now for Vengeance Demon Hunters. For Eldraki Reaver, Reaver's Glaive damage is being reduced by 26% on Vengeance. Fury of the Eldraki damage is being reduced by 13%. And Warblade's Hunger damage reduced by 25%. Wounded Quarry effect now 15% of physical damage down from 20. So a little bit of a hero talent readjustment with this change for the tank spec Vengeance on their hero talent tree. For Havoc, we've got Burning Blade effect increased to 35% of ability damage, up from 30. So another buff. And I'm very surprised to see changes like this going through into PvP as well. Just 10% damage increase across the board for Havoc. Glaive Tempest now activates when Blade Dance strikes 3 or more enemies, down from 4. That's a lot easier to get 3. Glaive Tempest now consumes only 25 Fury, down from 35, but its damage is being reduced by 25%. So you're going to be able to activate it in more situations, but it's going to do less damage. For Vengeance, Shattered Souls now causes soul fragments to heal for 6% of the recent damage, down from 7. And Thick Skin now increases armor by 150%, up from 130. So a lot of these tuning adjustments aimed almost 100% at Mythic Plus and likely raid tuning. We'll have to wait probably until much later into the beta cycle for like very PvP oriented stuff. For Preservation Evoker, all of your spells and abilities are being reduced by 6%, at least healing. It's kind of worded weird here. Emerald Blossom healing is being reduced by 15%. Living Flame damage and healing increased by 25%. Disintegrate damage increased by 25%. Fire Breath damage increased by 25%. And Reverberations causing Verdant Embrace to heal for an additional 60% over 8 seconds, up from 30. So all of your abilities reduced, but then a significant portion of them also being buffed, and your damage is getting increased by an ample amount as well. For Paladins on the hero talent side, Herald of the Sun, Eternal Flames cast animation has been updated. Curious to see what that animation looks like. For Protection, Guardian of Ancient Kings cooldown is being reduced to 180 seconds from 300. Ardent Defender's cooldown is being reduced to 90 from 120. Word of Glory is getting increased by 100%. Aegis the Light will increase your armor by 55%, up from 20. Armor granted by Shield of the Righteous is being increased by 30%. You guys must have been featherweight tanks, bro. What is these? Are gigabuffs. Light of the Titans causes Word of Glory to heal for an additional 40% over time, up from 20. And Solace causes Consecration to heal for 300% of its damage done, up from 100. I feel like Paladin just got really sick in PvE at least, and probably PvP. Oddly enough, I played against one on the beta, and it looked pretty good. So like with this on top of that, like, I mean, across the whole game, this thing probably looking pretty gnarly. For Warlock, for the Hellcaller, Blackened Soul damage is being increased by 30%. And for Affliction, Mark of Xavius now increases Agony damage by 30, up from 20. And through the Fellvine, now increases Unstable Affliction damage up to 8%, up from 4. So a little bit of a hero talent tree rebalance for Affliction. For Destruction, through the Fellvine will now increase Chaos Bolt by 8%, up from 4. And your Wither is going to do 20% more damage. Now that one is very important here. I think with the Malevolence proccing from Hellcaller, unless I'm mistaken, but I'm pretty sure Hellcaller is the one with Malevolence. This is going to be pretty juicy to be playing Hellcaller. For Soul Harvester, though, also getting buffs. Demonic Soul damage increased by 100%. Wicked Reaping damage increased by 150%. Soul Anathema damage increased by 50%. So just Warlock buffs again, bro? What? You guys can't keep getting away with this, man. You guys just get buffed every single patch. Call of the Week has been updated. Casting Unstable Affliction or Seed of Corruption reduces the cooldown of your Dark Harvest by 1.5 down from 3. However, Dark Harvest is going to do 300% more damage. So they're kind of going after your cooldown reduction, but making it more impactful. Wrath of Nathriza's Summon Desperate Soul damage is being increased by 100%. Shadow Bolt and Drain Soul damage increased by 60%, but not in PvP. See, they're doing some stuff in PvP, but like the Havoc Demon Hunter stuff, I'm just like, really? That's going to increase their damage by 10%? But Unstable Affliction will be increased in PvP by 15%. It'll be increased across the whole game. Agony damage is being increased by 30%, but not in PvP. Malefic Grasp is being increased across the board by 150%. Summon Dark Glare damage is being increased by 100%, but not in PvP for this one. And Corruption will be getting a 50% damage increase as well. So pretty good patch to be a Warlock, at least for Affliction. What about Demonology? Hellbent Commander has been updated. Your demons deal 1% increased damage for each demon you control, down from 2. Dominion of Argus and Tauren Jailer damage reduced by 20%. Dominion of Argus and Tauren Inquisitor damage increased by 100%. Summon Doomguard damage is being reduced by 25%. Wild Imp damage is being reduced by 10%. And Hannigal Dan damage is being reduced by 25%. So significantly across the board being nerfed, except for the Dominion of Argus and Tauren Inquisitor. And I don't know if that's enough to compensate for that, because everything else is a pretty significant loss. And, you know, this is sizable. When this happened to Elemental, it felt like Elemental Shaman fell off a cliff. So, bit concerned for Demonology. For Destruction, Chaos Bolt will be increased by 25%, but not in PvP. Echo of Sargeras damage will be increased by 150%. And that's your Apex talent, just extra proc damage. Overfiend is getting buffed by 30%. Incinerate is getting buffed by 20%. Conflagrate is being buffed by 20%, but not in PvP. And Shadowburn is being buffed by 100%. And Shadowburn functions completely different now. It's an execute. So hopefully it'll feel like an execute with that buff. So Destruction, Affliction, Demonology, not so much. For Warrior, we got Slayer. Opportunist's damage and critical strike damage of the next overpower reduced to 10%, was 25%. So a little bit less damage here on Slayer. For Fury, Opportunist damage and critical strike damage of the next Raging Blow is reduced to 10% from 25%. So Fury and Arms both getting hit on their Slayer side. For Arms, for Crushing Combo, it's being updated. Colossus Smash causes your next 3 cleaves within 20 seconds to trigger no cooldown. I mean, that sounds fun in Mythic Plus or something. Just spamming out a bunch of cleaves. For Fury Warrior, the Fury talent tree has been slightly rearranged, and some talents have changed positions. We are aiming to make pathing through the Fury tree easier and to open up more build options. We've streamlined the first gate to make pathing through the middle of the tree less onerous, and redesigned a few talents to reduce the amount of pressure the tree put on players to specialize into Raging Blow or Bloodthirst or the exclusion of the other. Sadly, I wonder if this is just a pointless fight, because it's just going to be auto-locked later, but let's see what they tried to do. Cruelty has been updated. While enraged, Bloodthirst and Raging Blow, previously it was only Raging Blow, deal 5% and 10% additional damage, but it's being nerfed from 10 to 20. So it'll increase more of your kit, but by a smaller margin. Improved Bloodthirst, renamed to Spite, and has been updated. Bloodthirst and Raging Blow, previously this was only Bloodthirst. Damage and critical strike damage increased by 2.5 to 5%, down from 5 to 10. So it seems like, I mean, would it not be considered kind of interesting that you could build 4 Bloodthirst or build 4 Raging Blow, and now it's just everything just goes up rather than being specialized. Blood Craze has been updated. Raging Blow increases the damage of your next Bloodthirst by 5%, stacking up to 5 times. I mean, Raging Blow is such a substantial cooldown. I don't know if you'd ever get it that many times. But okay, so a little bit of an interesting mechanic. We got some interface changes and then some additional class changes down below as well. Larger house sizes are now available in the Edit House Exterior. That's a good one. Added the Midnight Game Credits. Okay. New accessibility feature for combat audio alerts. You've added support for announcing that you are targeted by an enemy. Oh, that could be useful in PvP. If you wanted to know someone targeted you. Added chat / commands to enable and disable combat audio alerts as well as access its options. New interface for damage meter. Each damage meter window can now be assigned a different segment, reverting a previous change. The full background style has been removed and will instead be controlled by the background opacity slider. So just more customization on the UI. Cooldown manager, they added support for visual alerts, including marching ants and a flash in various colors. What the hell does that mean? Marching ants. I'm gonna have marching ants on my screen? What is that? They've added border colors to indicate debuff type for magic poison for tracked items. Tracked items? I'm assuming that's on the party frame. I thought they should have done that to begin with, but they did like the whole frame changes color. I was thinking just like a border, like a purple border. Like, oh, they got a curse, purple border, green border, or something like that. But the thing is sometimes there's poisons and stuff you don't care about removing, and then there's like a high priority one that you do. So if you see that everybody has poisons, but there's a more important poison, you can't differentiate it. There's a bit of an issue there. Add-on interface made improvements to allow unit frame add-ons to show heal prediction and absorbs on custom unit frames. Okay, so the whole like add-on thing, like you're gonna be able to still customize them. So those customizations didn't have that feature. Now they're going to, I guess. Made improvements to allow add-ons to more easily show channeled spells in custom cast bars as well. Okay, and then we got this update here that came through from Mage. Developers notes, Touch of the Archmage has not been hitting the notes we wanted it to, both in gameplay and tuning. So we're buffing up the last node and redesigning the first node to no longer increase the Touch of Magi charges and putting that budget into the Touch of Magi's burst window instead. Apex talents updated. Touch of the Magi increases the damage your target receives by 20%. This sounds like a Swifty one-shot macro. Second node now additionally increases arcane missile damage by 10 to 20%. And the third node now deals 50% of the Touch of Magi's accumulated damage up from 25. So rather than having two of them spread out for more sustain, you get one big commitment. Which, I mean, Arcane is supposed to be like a, to me at least, like a burst assassin. So that fits better, but I'm surprised that they're going that direction with it when they wanted to move away from kind of like cooldown modifier stacks like that. For Paladin, for Herald of the Sun, for Ret, Walk into the Light no longer consumes a charge to cast Blade of Justice at 100% effectiveness. And for Retribution, Crusading Strikes now decreases your auto attack speed by only 35%, down from 50, which is important because auto attacks are going to be a very significant portion of melee DPS's damage. So taking this talent is not going to hamstring you too much now. For user interface and accessibility, in the cooldown manager, icon padding can now be set to 0. The hell is an icon pad? Is that the space between them? I'm gonna have to fool around with that here on the next one. But that is it for the updates here. I don't know if we are going to get any more updates because to my understanding from some people that I've heard is that Blizzard might be going on vacation. I don't know how many, if they take, some of them are, not other ones, or what's going on. But it might be a bit until we get an update from this, or a beta build from this point. So a little bit concerning just because it feels like the expansion is going to be rolling in pretty soon. But I understand the sentiment for taking time off for the holidays. So we'll have to wait and see what the future holds from here. But some very big buffs to check out on the build. I think especially for Affliction and Destro, I'm gonna have to, because I've been eyeing Affliction, so I might have to give that one a go. But that's it for this breakdown. Thank you guys very much for tuning into the video, and I will see you in the next one.